You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, and welcome to Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about confronting your fears. We all have fears of different kinds. I know for me, I'm afraid of the dark, actually. Sometimes that makes me feel really spooky and just feeling like I just can't see everything that I want to. And I know for some it may be a fear of heights or public speaking or, anything, spiders. So whatever that fear is, we want to confront that today and see how you can get past it so you can really live life full out. Also, we're going to be joined in our next segment by Debbie Salomon. Now, honestly, she got attacked by a shark. And that is one of my biggest fears after seeing the movie Jaws. That has always been in the back of my mind when I'm in the ocean, possible shark attack. So she's going to share with us her story. And if you need some support on today's topic, feel free to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. You are not alone in your desires to get past fears and challenges and really strive to live full out. So we want to be right beside you in that walk. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. This is Emilee.
Hi, Emilee. Thank you for calling. How can we help you today?
Hi, I just wanted to say that, I'm having trouble with dieting in the sense that I'll have a really strict diet plan and I'll be great about it for a couple of days, and then I'll cheat a little bit and I'll just start binging and give up all hope. And I wanted some advice on how to stop that cycle of feeling so guilty.
I'm going to raise my hand because I'm with you, right? Last night I had a burger and today I'm going to go lighter, right? But the thing is I believe personally in an 80-20 rule. I think there are times that you have to allow yourself to have that craving, whatever it is, but know that you can only do that 20% of the time. 80% of the time, you got to be really good. You got to work out. You got to eat all the right things. And the thing is, you're the one who's going to beat yourself up. No one is analyzing what you're eating. Only you, right? So, for example, what is something that is naughty, on the naughty list, that you seem to eat quite frequently? What is that?
We have these little candies at work on the snack table.
Mm-hmm.
Like Halloween candies. And I'll eat one and then I'll eat a bunch.
Okay, got it. Okay, so here's what you have to do. You have to find some sort of a penalty, and I would actually tell your coworkers, because if you tell people, don't let me eat the candy, you won't eat the candy. They will stop you. So it depends on, you can make it a game, depends on how much you want to get them involved. But I would tell somebody at the office, okay, if I start to go near the candy, pull me back. Or tell me, stop, don't do it. Because if nobody knows, then if you cheat and you do it, nobody's going to call you out on it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing, yeah, and you want a consequence also. Okay, and you got to be really firm with yourself. So, if you eat that candy, what do you got to do if you do that? It might mean that you got to go home and do 25 sit-ups, push-ups, whatever. There's got to be a consequence that actually goes in your favor of your goal. So, if you're going to eat the candy, that means you got to walk for 30 minutes. Do you see what I'm saying? And if it's something like Skittles, right, where there's individual candies, you could be a consequence for the whole package or a consequence per candy, right? But you gotta kind of negotiate that with yourself. And then you're going to get to the point where you're either going to be really in shape because you've done all these sit-ups and you've done this extra walking because you've ate the candy, or you're going to be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want those consequences, and you're not going to do it. But the good and the bad of it is that you're the one in charge. Okay? So I will definitely be thinking of you because we have all been there, but I would enroll somebody at work to keep you accountable. If that's where you seem to, fall down is at work with those candies, I think that will help a lot. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for calling in. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
I really enjoy that she asked that question, because who hasn't been there? Like, my downfall is Mountain Dew. I love it. I just love it. But I know it has crazy amounts of sugar. And there's the old saying, a moment on your lips, years on your hips. Well, sometimes we pay for those candies and that Mountain Dew. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we have another caller. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for calling. What's going on? How can we help you?
So I was wondering, how do I begin to balance school and work? Because I keep finding myself not having any time for fun and more time for stress.
Oh, who wants stress, right? Yuck. Yuck. So what is causing you the most stress, though? Is it school or is it work?
A combination of both.
Mm-hmm. And is it that you have taken on too much?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Now, with either work or school, can you do less hours at either?
No, not necessarily. Definitely not
Okay.
with school, but maybe with work.
Okay. And I asked that question because I didn't know how much of your work is needed to pay for school. So sometimes we can lessen that work and sometimes we can't. I would do a couple of things. Number one is I would see if you could lessen your hours a little bit for work. Now, if you do, let's say it's even 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, whatever. Don't fill that time with school. Protect that time for you. That's working out time. That's spending time with friends. That's sleeping time. That's getting your nails done time, right? That is time for you. Because otherwise, if you allow the school to take that time over, you're going to feel the same imbalance. And then the other thing I have a suggestion on is, are you more of an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl, for sure.
Night owl, okay. I'm an early bird, but if you're a night owl, then you want to look at carving out some time, again, for personal time for you at night. The temptation might be, I'm going to, study until I go to bed. But you want to allow yourself to at least have a half an hour to yourself. Watch one of your favorite programs on TV, listen to some music, journal, whatever it is that you want to do. Again, it's about protecting that time. Do you allow yourself any personal time in the day?
I do sometimes, but it's usually just watching some TV.
Okay. And if you were going to carve out some time and really honor it, do you think that you could budget in 30 minutes? You think you could give yourself a whole hour in the evenings?
I could definitely do 30 minutes for sure.
Okay. So let's do 30 minutes. Okay. And I want you to look at next week. How many nights out of the 7 nights, how many can you give yourself 30? Every night? 5 nights?
Yeah, maybe every night, yeah.
Okay, go for every night. Okay. And I really want you to hold yourself to that. Now set an alarm on your phone, whatever you need to do. So count backwards if you want to go to bed by a certain time, or if there's a time that you naturally start to fall asleep. Give yourself that 30 minutes. If you don't want to do it right before you go to sleep, then do it earlier in the evening. But pencil it in and have planned out, what are you going to do during that time? Because if you don't have that go-to, like if there isn't a show that you're going to watch, if you don't have a friend that you're going to call, if you don't have that go-to, then you're unlikely to do it because you're going to just fill it up with school. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And when we do this next week, what are some of the things that you want to do that you've been putting off? Your own personal stuff.
Reading.
Okay. So reading, you could read. Now, I wouldn't read every night. I would find another thing, kind of keep, spice of life, right? So maybe alternate every other night you read. What was something else that you want to do?
Writing in a journal.
Okay. So alternate it. Read and then write. Read and write. And I think if you do that, you're going to find that you're not so stressed out. Because first of all, reading is going to bring you joy. It's going to kind of take you away, out of your mind into some other adventure, whatever it is that you're reading. And writing is the way to kind of purge those thoughts, those stresses out of your mind onto paper. So I'm excited for you. How do you feel?
Better.
Yeah, it's going to be a good week, and I want you to do well, and we'll be thinking of you as you live full out.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Thank you for calling in. And for everybody listening, it's all about confronting your fears today. It's getting past those stresses. Now, we're going to be coming back in our next segment with Debbie Salamone. You don't want to miss her story. Being attacked by a shark, that is truly one of my biggest fears. So we're going to be hearing from her and how she got past that to go on and live her life full out in a big way. So stay with us. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be right back.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For
at
those
5.
caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar.
I
was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road. It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
The cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about confronting your fears. Whatever that is that holds you back, that makes you a little bit weary or jittery, we want to get past that. We want you to be able to live your life full out in a big way. And our inspirational guest today, she went through one of my biggest fears. She was actually attacked by a shark. Yet she's here today to tell her story. And thankfully, Debbie is okay. Her injuries were not severe. Well, we know many have lost their lives. So I really appreciate Debbie and her courage to speak about this. So I'd like to welcome her to the show.
Well, hi, Nancy. Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. And like I said, what you went through is literally my biggest nightmare. And I do love the ocean, but in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about sharks and the possibility of. Can you take our audience back to 2004? Where were you when this happened?
Sure. I was in Cape Canaveral National Seashore, which was on the east coast of Florida. And I was about waist-deep water, only about 50 feet offshore. And I was just enjoying the waves and frolicking around in the water like I have done for many years. And a thunderstorm was coming. And so I knew I had to get out of the water. So I turned to face the shore, and I started to walk out. But then all of a sudden, this big fish just jumps out of the water right next to me. And I thought to myself, oh, no, that's not a good sign.
Oh, no.
Next thing you know, there was a shark on the back of my foot. And I know it had been chasing that fish, and the fish jumps out of the water, smarter than I was, and my foot looked like the fish, and the shark just grabbed on. And
now,
so
what is that? What is that sensation? What is that feeling? Because I've seen sharks' teeth. They kind of crisscross. They're super sharp. But is it a piercing pain? What is that?
Yeah, it was very sharp. And then this weird sensation of numbness, and I couldn't really feel anything more specific than that.
Wow. And at the time, was blood starting to fill up the water, or what was the surrounding like?
Yeah, so it was very difficult for me to see because the waves were churning up the sand, so I never could see the shark itself. Yes, blood was definitely pouring into the water. I know that for sure, and that's what really intensified my fears because I could feel all of these slithering bodies going in between and around my legs. And I thought, oh my gosh, there could be more sharks, and now I seem like wounded prey in this water with all of this blood. And I just knew that I was in the middle of sort of this feeding frenzy, the sharks going after the fish or what have you. I just couldn't see anything. That's what makes it so terrifying because you just don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
It could have been really bad. It could have dragged me under the water and out to sea, and I would have never been seen again. But
oh, no.
Fortunately, I was just kicking wildly to get it off. I know it bit down harder to keep hold. And then I don't know what happened because the feeling was all the same. Eventually, it did let go because I was able to finally start making my way towards shore. I just remember, screaming with my hands outstretched, it's got me. And I started to move toward the shore, but the front of my leg was now folding over the top of my foot because my Achilles tendon had been completely severed. And so it was a real struggle to get back to shore. My companion was there. He had body surfed to the shore, so he was already on the shore when this was happening. So he came out halfway into the water, grabbed my arms, and pulled and dragged me sort of the rest of the way, and we collapsed onto the sand.
Wow! And what did he see, Debbie? Did he see the shark? Did he see any of that?
No, neither one of us saw anything. No.
Okay.
So,
and in this area, were shark attacks common in this area?
No, there had only been 2 attacks in the last 10 years before mine, so it wasn't really that common, although that county in which I was attacked is actually known as the shark bite capital of the world because there's an inlet farther north where there are a lot of surfers, and the incoming and outgoing water seems to attract more sharks there.
Well, and like I said, beginning of your interview, I mean, this is literally my number one fear. And I can't imagine the amount of pain, how scared you must have felt. I mean, when you got to sand, did you break down crying? Were you in shock? What was your state?
Yeah, I was so surprised at myself because normally I would think I would be completely hysterical, but this calm just sort of washed over me, and I was just laying there. I only had the courage to look back at my foot once because the blood was staining the sand and washing out with the waves, but that drew the attention of a nurse who happened to be walking along, and she came running to my aid, so that was a big comfort. And she grabbed my beach towel and wrapped my foot up and put pressure on just the right way until we could get an ambulance. But yeah, I was really calm the whole time. I just sort of put my, I gave up my sense of control about anything, and put my faith in all the other people who were around me.
Now, you said that a thunderstorm was coming in. Was it actually thundering and lightning and raining and while you were on the sand?
Oh, what a scene. Yes, the thunder was cracking louder and louder, and the lightning was crashing across the sky, and oh, my goodness gracious. Actually,
and here you are in the water.
Yeah, right. Here I am right next to the water, and the tide's coming in, so we keep having to crawl up the beach farther and farther. I'm just on one hand and, 2 hands and 1 knee trying to, maneuver my way up. Now it's ironic because I realize that you're much more likely to be struck by lightning than to be attacked by a shark. So that wasn't a good situation.
Wow. I mean, talk about intense, right? I mean, that's just amazing. And so how long did it take for, an ambulance to come and be able to wisp you off?
Yeah, it took quite a while because this is a very secluded, nice kind of a beach, all natural, no development. It's a national seashore. So it's a long drive to get there from where the hospital is. So probably about a half an hour, I would say, maybe for the ambulance to show up. But some fire rescue folks showed up a little bit sooner than that to take care of me.
Well, and it's great that nurse was there, and it's funny how the right people show up when we need them, but at the same time, you must have been worried thinking, am I going to lose my foot? And I'm just curious, how did you keep yourself calm? Because, I mean, you said you were unusually calm, but what were your coping skills during that time?
Yeah, I just was terrified about being able to walk properly again because I knew something was very wrong. No one was really telling me how what it looked like or what they thought the diagnosis was, but I could tell my foot was not really connected as well to my leg as it should be.
You just had this hunch, you had this feeling. Well, I want you to stay with us because we're going to go to a break. But when we come back, Debbie will find out the news of her foot and what she had to go through to walk and feel strong again. So stay with us, Debbie. We'll be right back after this break. It's all about confronting your fears so that you can live your life full out. I am Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us. We will be right back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, Use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about confronting our fears. And our inspirational guest today, Debbie Salomon, went through one of my biggest fears, being attacked by a shark. So she's sharing with us today what the attack was like, but you know, the emotional, the physical strain that she went through to really get her life back on track. So I'd like to welcome Debbie back to the show.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. So Debbie, you know, where we ended in the last, segment, we were talking about, how thankfully this nurse came along and she was able to wrap your foot, but you really weren't sure the full status of your injuries. So when you got to the hospital, what did you find out about what had been done?
Well, my Achilles tendon had been severed and my heel was torn apart. So it was a 3-day hospital stay, and then I faced a very long rehabilitation especially because I wanted to heal well enough to be able to return to my ballroom dancing. I was a competitive ballroom dancer as a hobby, so it was really devastating.
And you need to be in heels. You need to be in pretty outfits and dance. And so what was the emotional like looking at this foot, knowing that thankfully you didn't lose it, but really wondering, would you walk the same? Would you even be able to dance?
Right. That was a daily concern. I mean, I was sitting in my house with my leg in a cast, propped up on the couch, and 2 hurricanes passing over, no power, it's hot as could be, and all I had to do was really think about what the future was going to bring, and it was really very terrifying to me. I was pretty upset at the shark at the time, and like I say, worried about the future. And I did have to go through quite a bit of emotional strain because I had always been a big fan of the environment, a big environmental advocate, really, in my life, and I felt really almost that the environment kind of had betrayed me. Here I am trying to do all the right things, and then here I am ending up attacked by the shark. So it was really kind of ironic, and so I really had to find my purpose again. I was very conflicted. I felt that maybe I wasn't on the right path in life. Maybe my goal to be very involved in the environment was wrong. Maybe this was a message to me. But really, the more I thought about it, I felt like maybe I should see this instead as a test of my commitment to environmental conservation, because if I could forgive this shark, and then it really would mean that I could be the ultimate environmental advocate. If I can embrace the whole ocean, even though I had such a negative experience with it, then wouldn't that make me a very powerful spokesperson for it?
I think that's so interesting, forgiving a shark, because you really can't track that shark down and have that conversation, right? But before this shark attack, had you ever been afraid of sharks before? Like, did you ever get in the water and kind of have that same uneasy feeling? I mean, that's how I am when I'm in the ocean, but, or were you always a champion for sharks up until this time?
No, I never really gave sharks much thought, to be honest with you. I was a teenager growing up on the shore, always in the water, just figured that, the surfers, they're the ones who are in danger because they're farther out. I just really wasn't that fearful.
Mm-hmm. And so when you finally said to yourself, I need to find my new purpose, what was that? What new door did you open?
Well, yeah, I opened the door to becoming a real advocate. At the time of the attack, I was a journalist, and I had written a lot about the environment, but this really pushed me all the way over into the corner of the shark, actually, because I became a shark advocate officially. I founded a group called Shark Attack Survivors for Shark Conservation, where I recruited other injured people from around the world, people who lost arms and legs, who would also advocate for sharks. And I also went to work for the Pew Charitable Trust, where I am an ocean and shark advocate.
And did you eventually go back in that water? Did you go back to that same place?
Yes, I actually did. About 9 months later, I was still the journalist, wanted to write my own story, went to the beach, met with the nurse, and she held my hand, and we walked back into the water. And I did so with a lot of trepidation. I went up to about my knees and thought, okay, I know I can be okay with the ocean again, but I knew it was just going to take a little bit more time.
Maybe not all the way to the waist this time, but knees were good. That's a good stopping point. And it's so interesting because, here you are working with people who have lost legs, who have lost arms, and you didn't lose your foot. You were actually able to go through rehabilitation. And what is the status of your foot now? I mean, can you dance? Can you walk?
Yes, I am extremely lucky in my unluckiness, is what I like to say, given that, only about 80 people each year are attacked by a shark in the world. So So, yes, I have healed. I can walk. I did have to give up dancing because I ended up with a little bit of less foot motion than I had wanted for a while, and have had to go through a lot of physical training and treatments to gain some motion back. I could dance again if I wanted. I probably at this point, since I've gone through so much of this extra treatment to get the motion back in my foot. I had some overcompensation issues where I was not walking properly on the right foot, which caused a lot of other body issues, hip pain, back pain, pretty debilitating actually at one point until I could figure out what the problem was. But I have to work on it daily.
So there's this saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you definitely went through that, months and months of just trying to, get your foot back on track. And how did you manage that stress, that boredom? How did you channel the patience?
Yeah, I think it is difficult. At different junctures, different things were going through my head. In the beginning, I was trying to find the reason why all of this happened. Then it was the recovery and the new purpose, and that was really that really turned my tragedy into something positive. That whole outlet of advocating for sharks and trying to save them and getting other people involved as well, that just brought a whole new energy to what happened to me, and I could look at it as not just a horrible experience, but something that propelled my life in a different direction and also did some good. So I think that was part of the energy. And then also when I was suffering personally with these, pains that came through my whole body as a result of not walking properly, that was a pretty dark period. But I just kept searching for answers, and it was really just determination to see if I could overcome physically. And now, like I say, I work on it every day. It's determination to not live in pain and to be able to make something out of my life and make a difference for myself and the oceans.
Well, and I love that. And today we're talking about confronting our fears. And I imagine you are quite fearful to step back in that ocean. What would you say to our audience today in overcoming fears? Well, I think it's really just sort of looking deep into yourself and seeing how you can dissect this fear. I know it's difficult. I've had different fears in my life too. I've tried making positive steps in a good direction to trying to take your mind off the fear. I've gone back in the ocean. I know it's fearful. I know I have fear sometimes, but what are the odds really? So you have to kind of look logically at things as well. So it's all different. There are a lot of different tools out there, I think. So I think just always looking at a bigger purpose, I think, is a good way to overcome certain fears. But then also, logically looking at things. Your odds of attack in Florida, for example, 1 in 11.5 million. So really, I can go back in the ocean. I'm probably shark-proof at this point. Well, and I was going to ask you, so do you think sharks get a bad rap? I mean, there's movies like Jaws and so many movies where they kind of demonize sharks. But do they get a bad rap? They do. They really have a PR problem. And so that's why, we thought, well, shark attack survivors, who better to speak up for sharks than people like us. So, yeah, sharks aren't the man-eating machines that we see in the movies. They have a very important purpose in the ocean as the top predators. They keep the food chains balanced, and we need healthy sharks and abundant sharks for healthy oceans. So, and did you ever find out what kind of shark it was that bit you? I think probably a spinner or a blacktip, according to the researchers, because those are the ones that are closest to shore. And how big do you think it was? They were estimating about 5 or 6 feet. 5 or 6 feet. And how tall are you? 5'6". 5'6". Oh, okay. So you guys could have really duked it out if you guys were both standing. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Fin to foot. Fin to foot. I had a chance. Yeah. Oh gosh, that is so cute. Well, thank you so much, Debbie, for being on the show today and giving those sharks a voice. And it's also good to know that we can go back in that water. We can confront our fears, and you are a perfect example of that. So thank you very much for being on the show today.
Yes, thanks again for having me. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you. And for everybody listening today, just like Debbie, if you have your own fear that you're trying to get past, this is the time to look at that and, like she said, dissect it. What is that fear? What is gnawing at you? And then how can we give you the support that you need to get past that? So again, if it's a fear of public speaking, let's get you speaking. Let's figure out where are those butterflies, where are those hesitations coming from, and get you out there sharing your voice. If it's fear of heights, then let's lift you up somewhere really high. Let's confront that fear so that you can soar to higher places. So when we come back, we will be taking more of your calls. I want to make sure that you do go to Connect at Living Full Out if you need support on today's topic, because today we're very committed to you overcoming those fears in your life and really setting a path so that you can live full out in an abundant way. So stay with us. We'll be coming right back after this break. It's all about living your life full out.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait, hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? Pew, pew. What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be
stadium.
a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it.
My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When confronting your fears, you want to consider not giving your power away to the fear. Really understanding, where is this anxiety coming from? What is the worst case scenario? And then, kind of nipping that in the bud so that you can live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and today we're talking about confronting our fears. And fears can come big and small. Sometimes they're the shark that we're afraid of, or sometimes it's the little bitty spider, right? But it's that same stress, that same anxiety, and it's how do we calm those fears? How do we get them out of our mind, out of our heart, and really understand that they're not real? Because fear stands for false evidence appearing real. It's not real. And sometimes it is, and when it is, then we want to manage it. We want to find ways that we can cope. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for calling in. How can we help you today?
Nancy, just wanted to get your advice. My daughter is getting married this summer, and with all the planning and the stress of doing everything and all the activities, just wanted to ask you how I can cope with the stress that comes with this phase in our life, and how not to lose sight of the real meaning of what is important in our lives and what is important for my daughter. Just wanted to get your advice.
Yeah, I love that you're asking this question, because this is supposed to be a time to be treasured and memorable, and you don't want to miss those moments if you're worried all the time. So what is the biggest stress that you face, though? If you were to kind of nail it down to the top of one about this time in your life.
The stress is just making decisions, because just thinking of what to do, what's the right way of doing it, like picking the venue or the food or the dress, and just just making the right decisions. At some point you feel it's not important, but when you're really dealing with all these little issues, everything becomes important. So I just wanted to see how.
And I'm so glad that you said it that way, the right decision, right? So let's look at this, right? Yeah. So as you're trying to choose the quote right dress, nobody is going to know all the other dresses that you considered. So there actually is no wrong dress, right? Because she's going to show up, she's going to look amazing, but nobody's going to compare her to all the other dresses she tried on. So just go with the one that makes her feel the best, and that is within budget, right? You got to consider that.
Exactly.
But the good news is you can't go wrong.
Be in the budget.
Yes. Well, and you have to honor that, okay? And beautiful weddings have been done under budgets, and so you have to price check things. Now, again, when it comes to the venue, pick the venue that's within budget, that is going to give the best experience, but nobody is going to judge that venue. Nobody's going to know what were the other options. Same with the food. Nobody's going to know what other options you are considering. So what I'm getting at is, in making these decisions, it's literally just executing, making the decision. You really can't go wrong. The only way that you can go wrong is if you go way, 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 way over budget. right? Because now you're paying monthly, right? Now so you have to stay within budget. But when it comes to the food, the dress, the venue, you just really can't go wrong. You just want to make that decision. And you also want to have fun with it. Oh man, you should be trying out that food. You should be tasting that cake, right? You know, you want to go there and enjoy checking out the venues and kind of dreaming and picturing what it's going to be like with all the family and friends, right? Don't lose the magic of the experience. Can you do that?
You're 100% right. It's the magical moments that we have to cherish. You're 100% right.
Absolutely. And honestly, it is going to be a great day. And
thank you.
And she's going to have her own fears about that day, everything going right. So as her mama, right, you want to calm those fears for her as well. Okay?
That is true. That is very true. Thank you so much, Nancy, for your
You're welcome.
advice.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
take care. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And for everybody listening today, it is about isolating that fear, not giving it the power that you are giving it. You know, sometimes we feed that frenzy, right? We make it bigger. It snowballs, and then sometimes it gets out of control. Let's pull it back. Let's get ourselves on a path where we're thriving, where we're excited, where we're managing and coping. So I want to thank everybody for listening today, our entire Living Full Out family. We have Aaron and Rich and Raj and Riley and so many people that just want to make sure that you are living your life full out. I want to make sure that you go to connect@livingfullout.com if you have questions and need support on today's topic. And if you have an inspirational story that you'd like to share with our community, also reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. We'd love to hear from you. Most of all, know that I believe in you very much. These fears, you can just put them aside because they're not going to hold you back from living your life full out. And we'll be seeing you soon on the next show. Here's to you living your life full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.